Hi, guys. Welcome back to another weekly reading. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the dates of November 17th, that's Monday, and that was yesterday, to November 23rd. And right now, as I'm recording this video, it is November 18th, 11:32 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. Now, I'm just going to kind of jump right into this message because sometimes messages want to come through. What I want to let you guys know is that I'm feeling, generally speaking, that a lot of you may be at a crossroads right now. You may be feeling a lot of feelings of loneliness or even just feeling alone. Now, feeling alone and feeling lonely are actually two different feelings, but you may be feeling one or the other or both. But if you resonate with that idea of feeling like, whoa, I'm feeling really alone, um, isolated, like where is everybody? All my friends have left, or my family, just whatever it is that you are feeling. If you're noticing that there's a sense of quiet and it's like there's no other activity and it's just you, I would stop you and say, don't even take that next choice of a step to assign the meaning of feeling lonely, right? And then even further to make stories about that loneliness and that take you into victim consciousness. Actually, the correction here, the perception correction that is coming through is to let you know that yes, you have been isolated. Yes, those people have been removed from your space. Yes, those opportunities have taken a backseat right now, or whatever it is in your case, whatever the details are. And the reason why is not about punishment. That's not how God works, right? It's, and in this case, it's not about teaching you anything. It's more about creating the conditions around you that are necessary in order for you to receive the frequency that is coming through for you, to receive and be aware of it, right? Because remember, God is always giving, we're always receiving. It is our natural state to be receiving of what is our birthright, because that's just what it is. That would be like saying, oh, a fish's natural birthright is access to water. It's always in water because that's what it is. And so that's the same as us. We're always immersed in God or source because that is all there is. However, when we start getting into the idea of not about receiving, because you're always in a state of receiving it, when we get into the idea of accepting that, in order to accept it, it comes with two things. Number one, it comes with to be able to say that you've accepted what you've received, you have to be you have to have accepted it for yourself, right? And then you must demonstrate that acceptance by giving it outward. So that means that you are fully functioning, meaning that, and we've talked about it many times on this channel, a great analogy is that you're a glass, like a glass of water, like you're a glass. Glass has the property of being see-through. So what when light comes through, when you're functioning properly as your glass, it flows through you. But if you receive the light and then the light is not shining through the rest of you to be emitted elsewhere on the opposite side of it, then that means that there's an issue with the glass, right? And that could be because the glass is smudgy. That could be because the contents of the glass, let's say if it's dark squid ink, of course the light's not going to go through. And this is just a shameless plug to work on your aura. By the way, spiritual hygiene, clearing your aura, shadow work, all of this stuff to clear up your energy field. But anyway, we also see this idea of not being able to transmit what has been received by you. In other words, not being able to accept it. In other words, not being able to demonstrate that you've accepted it by giving it forward or allowing it to pass through you to others is your inability to share, whether it's sharing of your resources, sharing of your time, sharing of information, whether it's sharing of your love, withholding your love is an example of stuff. So what causes us to not be in that mode that is natural and organic to us of being able to share or transmit or be a channel or conduit for energetic frequencies coming through is basically, as we all know on this channel, if you follow it over time, it's your belief system. Whatever you say you are, consciously or unconsciously slash subconsciously, is what it is that is going to drive the quality of your energy field. In other words, the glass, let's say if a glass, let's personify this cute little glass here for a second. The glass is only going, let's say a great analogy would be like the glass is only going to be able to be that conduit or that channel for light to flow through it. In other words, to function as a glass normally does, if it believes itself to be a glass and to have the properties of being a glass. So it has to be in its I am state of being. Oh, yeah, I am a glass. Oh, yeah, I am abundant. Oh, yeah, I am prosperous. Oh, yeah, I am worthy. Oh, yeah, I am giving. Oh, yeah, I am enough. Those belief systems are what program your energetic field to be accepting of the frequency that's coming through, thereby being able to transmit it to others. Thank you, guides. The guides just said the message has landed in the consciousnesses of us here. This is good. Or it doesn't, or if we have the opposite of those ideas, like I am not, I'm in lack, I'm a victim, I'm all of these stuff. Oh, I'm a martyr. I'm never going to see my way through. I am never going to feel passion again. I'm never, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not enough. I'm inadequate. All that stuff. All you're doing is beating the drum of I am not. And when you do that, it's tantamount to taking yourself out of alignment of being the glass that you are. So because we're in this free will zone, this plane of existence is run by your free will, but you don't realize that your free will is being demonstrated to the universe. It's programming the universe to give you what you believe to be true, because what you believe to be true about yourself in that subconscious area and that conscious mind space is going to be what programs your energy field. And that means that that's going to be what programs the vibration that is given out into the universe. And that means that the universe, which is doing its thing, the universe is doing its thing. Its thing is just to respond to you, the free will sovereign co-creator being who forgot itself. It's going to give you back in physical form, in the form of thoughts, ideas, people, places, things, all that stuff. It's going to give back to you what it is that you told it to give to you. But the problem is a lot of people don't realize that spiritual law dictates spiritual law, doing a lot right there, but spiritual law, the real one, dictates that as the creation of God, made in God's image and likeness, which basically means having creative abilities. The only thing you differ from with God is that you didn't create God, right? So you're an extension, is the word, of source. And when you are moving in your creative abilities, meaning working with love and frequencies and spiritual law, you are able to create just like God did. You create and create and create. Of course, anyway, if you're not in alignment with those, meaning you're in your I am not, in your victim consciousness, all that stuff, where you're literally not a fit to what you are, you're opposite. Now you're just out here making stuff of your own accord. Now, because the universe runs on the vibration you put out, and because the vibration that you put out is determined by what you believe to be true, if you're out here on that wrong thinking about the I am not and the this and that, all you're doing is corrupting your own system of manifestation. And then you will get back that which is in alignment with the frequency that you put out. So you see, the problem is not with the world, the problem is with your belief system. So when we see these words, know thyself, I don't know why it's said like that in my mind, know thyself, my child. When you see those words, it is so strikingly spiritually true that it appears to have no meaning down here in the sauce, including things like, oh, only love is real. God is good all the time. You're in a dream world. Nothing around you is real. This is illusory. You're a sovereign co-creator being, and what you believe to be true is what you experience in this world. All these things have no meaning to people who don't have yet the consciousness or the awareness of that link. It's the missing link. The missing link is understanding spiritual law and understanding how your belief system, your self-concept, your I am, however you complete that sentence, how that directly relates to the experience that you have here. Now, one may wonder, Jay, what are we talking about? Jay, you didn't even introduce yourself. You didn't talk about your services. You didn't talk about, disclaimers of all that. No, I didn't. Because if you're on this channel and you're still rocking with this information, then chances are it's not your first rodeo, right? And so you understand that the call, everyone thinks they have a calling, and we do in many ways if you choose to. Everyone has a calling, but you have to understand that to answer that call in the way that your soul intended, you must align with the frequency in the call. If your call is to do A, B, C, and D, meaning that would bring your soul joy in service to the divine, because that is what is natural for the soul. The soul is trying to get back into alignment with source, the higher self in alignment with source. You in alignment with source, the monadic self in alignment with source. And we don't want to personify all these levels of being, whatever order they are in, because that's also a place where we corrupt things because we bring our ego into it. It's alignment. It's either you're in alignment with love or you're out of alignment with it. When you're in the state of I am, and however you finish that sentence, it is a self-loving thing, then you're in alignment, right? Because the Most High is not going to ever affirm that you, or confirm that you are a loser, that you're ugly, that you're useless, that you're inadequate, that you're not good enough, that you are a victim, that you have the ability to even change anything that is meaningful about you. This is a temporary existence. So even down here in the madness that we're in, we are running on the original mistake in reasoning. Some people may call this the original sin. They may put a discursive treatment on it, whatever. We don't care about the language, but the original mistake in reasoning in the consciousness is that you can be out of alignment with what God has, what the creator, God, whatever, the Most High. I'm not talking about all these gods and mini gods and demigods and ancestral gods and all these things along the way at different levels of the field, seen through different lenses. We're talking about the Most High, the creator, right? The idea that you can even be outside of the will of the creator, that you can corrupt yourself, that you can do anything on this planet over lifetimes, through different universes, all of that, that could alter your creative essence. In other words, that could make you anything other than the perfection that you were made. That is the original problem. It's not out here, we're not out here at the level of like, oh, I did this past lifetime stuff, I did that. All of that spirit looks from its higher perspective down on and says, what past lifetimes? Because to believe in those past lifetimes and those different personalities and personas and ideas and stuff that you were would be to agree that those are real. And then it would be to judge those things as not good enough. And it would be to confer condemnation upon you, for which you would need to feel guilt. And then you would need to atone. Then you would need to get forgiveness for. Then you would possibly even ask to be pardoned. And then you'd have to forgive other people. And then you'd have to make things right. And then we'd have all this karma and all of those things that we know naturally, that we talk about, all of that, not created by the ultimate creator, but they came into being in our mindset along the different levels of existence of the plane. And these are all part of, let's just put it, the dream, the hypothetical reality, the distortion, as the law of one would refer to it, the I am not, the hypothetical, right? Whatever you want to call it. It's not what is. There's what is, and then there's what is not. There's all that is. It's just all that is. It's reality. It's substance. It exists on all levels of existence, every plane, every dimension, and because it's real. And then as we drop down into the different levels, whatever you want to call it, and the out there's and the this and that, and the time and the space and blah, 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 and the universes, that's just a realm of the hypothetical. because anything that's found in there is either in alignment and has substance and can be experienced in all levels of the field if you align with it. Boink. If you catch the frequency, if you hit that vibe and you're able to align with it, in other words, if you can align with love, self-acceptance. I accept what I am. Boom. I am source. I am love. I am joy. I am this and that, all that stuff. But it's so easy with all of our programming to accept something other than what we are. And here we are today, right? So if this finds you here, if this message finds you here, first thing I want to say is, hey, if you're listening on Instagram, I would invite you to step on over to YouTube, which is my main space, and you will get access to the rest of the weekly video. Don't blame the messenger, literally the messenger. Blame the platform because it's not platforming with the video links, okay? But anyway, if you're still here, I would say for you this week, get used to the silence and whatever you interpret it to be, avoid allowing that meaning to take you into nobody loves me. Oh, this, that, and the other, and da, 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 all of that. I don't even want to hear a name associated with it. I don't care if it's your great aunt Flo from God knows when, who it has nothing to do with them. Space has been created for you to have an environment that is not going to distract or disrupt or take your attention away or desensitize you from acknowledging what has been sent to you to acknowledge. And for some of you, you understand this very well because you're very, very used to handling energetic codes. You're used to seeing and tracking how these energetic frequencies work through your mind, through your energetic vessels, through your physical body. You may even be adept at seeing how they play out in the world around you. So this is a time of processing. But the good news is the processing will occur naturally if you can allow for the quiet to be here for you. And honestly, TBH, NGL, we're here for that relaxation during Mercury retrograde. One last thing, we are on a new moon. I believe it is today, but isn't it today? I don't know. I think it is. But this week, new moon, which means planting the seeds. Wouldn't it be nice to know what spirit has planted into your consciousness, your subconsciousness? Well, allow for the quietude. Okay. Now, if you'd like to continue on or seek a reading with me, head over to YouTube or head over to my Etsy page, respectively, and you can book now. God bless you. Mwah. You can look now or book now. Bye. Mwah. And we're back. Hi. Okie dokie pokles. Let's continue on with the reading. Let me reset my timer here because you guys know. Okay, hold on. Okie dokie pokes. And did I do it right? Okay. All right. So guys, hey, welcome. So if you were here during that first part, then nice to have you continue or nice to have you back. As always, you can reach out to me for a personal reading. Now, let's go into this space that has been created. We're going to drop in right now. And some of you may actually feel it. You would feel not like being submerged in the ocean or in a pool of water, body of water, but rather being in it, but with your head above the water. And you would think, oh, am I like floating on my back? What am I doing? Am I treading water? And I'd say, no, you're not even treading water. Let's say that you've got a holy seat, SEAT, holy seat that is invisible, I guess, and holding you up. So you're sitting in, let's say, the ocean, and your head is above water, and you're just gently swaying, but you're being supported in such a way that allows you to be immersed, not submerged, but immersed in this frequency. And now you get to look up at they stopped me from saying what I was going to say. I was going to say look up at the sky, but I'm telling you. Oh, see, you heard them correct me. They're like, I'm telling you, no sky watching. Okay, wow, interesting that they said that way. So, okay, if there's something that wants to take your attention up in the sky, whether it's whether it's drones, whether it's who knows what, who cares? Just don't even bother looking up at the skies over the next 8 days. Okay. 8 days. Don't do it. Don't watch any videos on YouTube. Don't do whatever. If any, this is interesting. Any videos, whether it's news, whether it's tarot readings or psychic readings, whether it's some YouTube influencers talking about whatever, anybody asking you to watch the sky, whether it's solar flares, whether it's appearances on the horizons, it doesn't matter. Whether it's disclosure, whether do not pay it any mind, because the reason why they're saying that is that it's an exercise in futility to notice to be in and focused in the area where you need to be focused to receive this information if you are still observing outside of you, which just showcases and supports the reality, spiritual truth that there is no outside of you, it is inside of you. So this is about retreating into the inner world where your reality really is. Like Buddha is not going to be out here achieving his enlightenment if he's focused on all the trees and the people outside of him. No, he had to kind of kick back and under the Bodhi tree and have some moments, right? And so this is what you're being asked to do. And in fact, look at this card. Hey, look, she's inside. She's not even looking outside to see this big head that's looking right back at her, or to even observe the nature around her, all of that. If you don't even watch the skies, they're saying, don't comment on it. The sky doesn't exist for you this week. Now, it's interesting that they're saying that because it's coming twofold. One, with the message that I do feel that maybe there's going to be stuff in the news or online, whoever you are, whatever algorithm you're attached to, it shows up in your internet. You notice I almost said in your universe. Guys, they're out here talking, right? Whatever is showcasing on your unique TV algorithm, world, universe, whatever. And that's also a nod to how high in the field we're reading, because they're reading above here and acknowledging you all as your own entire universes, right? And feelings and all that, your networks, whatever it is. If you see anything that asks you to look up at the sky, disregard it. Even if it's, what are they're saying, oh, okay. I was going to say, even if it's like the aurora borealis, if someone's like, hey, the northern lights, check it out, don't even bother. Distraction, appearing as an innocent, hey, take a look at this. The guides are saying that there's going to be a holy flare up. What there's is what they're saying. And I'm going to see if I can translate that. It's going to be a holy information session, they're saying. And I was going to say holy impulse. But what it is, if I can break that down a little bit more, is there's going to be an impulse that's received, a wave of information, thanks guys, that's being sent here into the field where all of us are collectively and individually looking like cute little bubbles, bubble, 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 sphere, 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 oh, like this. When we see from above, everyone's a sphere, right? And we think we're all in one big sphere with nothing between us but our skin. And that's actually not the truth. We've got our own universes. They keep saying that. Yeah, universes, right? And so the message for you, if you're still watching this, very succinctly, do not get caught up in any sky watching. And the more I'm feeling into this, I'm thinking it also may have to do with information or interpretations of astrological watchings. I'm not saying disregard the astrology that's happening right now, disregard the interpretations. So if you follow astrologers right now, let's give them a little bit of a pause. This month, they're saying, okay? But earlier they were saying 8 weeks for whatever it was talking about there. But this month in particular, give the astrologers a break, because they too are receiving this light now, or this wave of information, which is light, right? Information. But what they're saying is that this information that is coming through is not going to be for all of you. It's not going to be needed, number one. And if something is not needed for you, but yet we're here in the collective consciousness and you're there and you're not none the wiser, you will believe it's needed for you and you will consume it, and it will shift and change your mindset about stuff. It's not for you. Quick example, remember when we had the drones not too long ago? I was like, what is this? Is this, everybody had their, from all discourses had their ideas, blah, blah, blah. But I just asked my guides, I was like, guides, what this? And they basically said, don't worry about it. It's not for you. In other words, the appearance of those in this world was not meant to impact me, influence me in any meaningful way for me to do what I needed to do. So I needed to disregard that altogether. And that's what I did. Right. And my conscious mind was like, but I need more. And they were like, don't even bother because it's not your thing. Now, a great analogy would be like, let's say that you go to a university. Let's say you're in a university. Cute university, right? Let's say you're in a university. Or, let's keep it even simpler. They're so funny. They're like, let's say Earth. I was going to say, let's keep it simpler, elementary school. Although they say Earth is more like a graduate school because it's so dense and stuff. But let's say in elementary school, I'm saying let's keep it simple because we all have been to elementary school, right? Now, the whole school, you go down the hallway, there's so many different classrooms, different grades. The classroom doors closed during teaching session, but you could still look through and see people doing things. Oh, you see in the lunchroom that fight over there. You see this, that, that has nothing to do with you. You're in, let's say, Mrs. Patterson's fourth grade. What's happening in Mrs. Delia's third grade and sixth grade and art class has nothing to do with you. It's not part of your lesson. Now, instead of being in your classroom, if you're in the hallway mucking about, wandering about, I just heard the word philandering. Okay, who's that for? I'm just out here giving messages, but okay, kind of specific there for somebody. But philandering, dilly-dallying with class cutters from other classes, all sorts of stuff. You know, getting caught up in what the AV club is planning for their next, video for the school assembly and all that. What you're doing is programming your mind. You're believing now this whole story about the school, that this is what's happening. Oh, Mrs. Third grade, this is the AV club and the celebrity and celebrity. Okay, okay, all that stuff. And Spirit's like, when didn't we ask you? Excuse me, where's your hall pass? You're like, I just want to go to the bathroom. All right, well, you need to come back into whose class? Mrs. Patterson's fourth grade class, where you're learning about the earth, or you're learning about the stars in the skies, or you're learning about how to do goodwill on earth, or where you're learning how to work with I just heard Minecraft, interesting. Well, how to manifest, how what are you doing? And we see this all the time out here. And I beat this drum on this channel a lot. Yes, we're here in this collective world, blah blah blah, but don't get confused. We're in Aquarius season, activism, independence, sovereignty, all these things. They're wonderful things, innovation, all of that. But if it's not grounded and contextualized properly and informed by your own independent connection to self, meaning at some point you paused and you went inward and focused on yourself, and you disconnected from the doctrines, the sociocultural programming, the religions, the spiritualities, the new age stuff, the occults, the science, the this, the art, all that stuff, the community, the leaders, all this, if you have not created that inviolate space where you are setting the conditions for yourself to be the creative authority, notice those two words, the creative authority within, then what we doing? Now you're just taking all these actions that we would normally see in the Aquarius age, and you're running on fumes. You're running on the I am not. We see a lot of victims, ideas of victims and stuff coming out and becoming activists to the point that it is shocking. And we see this pillory mob. Is that the word? Pillory mob, where one person just post something on Instagram, I'm doing this, and now everybody's like, we hate you, and death threats and this and that, or I'm not going to your house because blah, blah, blah. They don't even realize the larger thing at work is the algorithm, the sociocultural programming, the trauma that is deeply seated and notice I said seated, SEEDED, deeply seated and then perpetuated by the victim story that they are holding on to so that they could receive what they think they need, which is an emotional fix, an outlet, a conversation that somebody needs to hear. Most times, if you look at it, somebody is just acting out because they haven't yet become aware that they're trying to have a conversation with the idea of a parent that they still have not even recognized they're having. And a lot of times that conversation is not even from this lifetime. And a lot of times the actions they're taking in this lifetime, as we always say on this channel, against the enemies that are current right now, are just a flip of what they were in another lifetime. Right? So we see a lot going on, but yet you're not seeing it. And so therefore, we have what is tantamount to people just running on feelings and running on facts, cold, hard facts, warm, hot, juicy feelings all together. What are we making here? The way to address these things is always, and I'm hearing them, somebody on the team said corporate madness, and the corporate madness, like, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get your girl started, because I will get started and then we'll never finish this video. Anyway, keeping my personals out the video. But if you're not taking the first primary initial step, which is to disconnect, and we've been talking about it on this channel for quite some time. This is Earth 101 for mastery. If you're on the mastery track, Earth 101 says disconnect, connect with yourself. You don't need any books. And you know, I'm big on A Course in Miracles because it's basically deprogramming. And if you're still seeing it as a religious doctrine, then you're not seeing it properly, right? Although it is great for people who have religious programming and it can help you to bridge that gap, but it is not a religious text at all. And in fact, it aligns a lot with energetics. But anyway, you don't need that. You don't need any other religious text, any spiritual text, any rain sticks, any all that stuff. Crystals, you don't need all of that because all of those are productions of the world. And they came to us. A lot of these things came to us with high frequencies, but unfortunately, they came through low frequency consciousnesses that shaped the trajectory and the shape of whatever that information is, to the point that now it's like meager scraps when it was at once a banquet hall, right? And so the point is, during this age of Aquarius, we are asked to go to the one place that matters. It is inside. And when you get inside, you are going to be asked to connect. And you will only have two choices, the appearance of two choices. One is going to be connecting with the ego. The ego is going to be the one that wants to keep you out of alignment with love. It's going to be the one that's, yeah, notice they said the one. They just said the one. Keep you out of alignment with I can't even say it again. I was going to say keep you out of alignment with love, but they're overriding my tongue and saying keep you out of alignment with the one, oneness. Love is oneness. We say love and it's poetic and it's agape and it's familial and it's filial and all those aspects of what it's just the oneness. Love is the attractive force. It is the binding. It is the fabric of all that is. It's what holds the consciousness. Love is the consciousness, right? But we can't see that because we're now in this hypothetical reality that some people may call the dream, some people may call whatever, right? But within, when you get quiet, and you really must cultivate, just get quiet. Take your 1 minute. Give yourself a 1 minute timer. Go up to 3 minutes. And yes, a lot of times I can't even get silent because, and then we'll call these things my ADHD, my restless leg, my whatever. Just do whatever it is that you can for however long you can without using that story to then say why you can't reach this perfected state. And the guys are like, perfect. You said that perfectly. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because, you know, my conscious mind's like, did I do good? Right? But listen, We all have reasons. When you view it from the ultimate perspective, when you view it from higher in the field, you don't even need to get up to that ultimate reality to view it. You will see that all of those ailments, neurological stuff, all that stuff is just an idea. But until we can get inward and really exercise mastery over our consciousness, which relies upon connection with our higher self, then we will be unable to really see how that stuff is by design of our mentality. So while we're down here, unable to see the long braid, so to speak, if you could see the braid, the whole braid, you will understand how where your higher self is and your consciousness, all this and your awareness has come down to be braided down here. When your higher self looks down, it just sees hair, for example, using this analogy, the way the hair is. It's just long and flowing, and that's it. But down here, we can't see straight anymore because we've got so much programming. So we see, pardon the language, a big ass braid. And we're struggling because this is an ornate braid slash fishtail slash whatever. We can't just cut that off because we don't have the wherewithal, mentally speaking, psychologically speaking, spiritually speaking, all that. We don't have a large enough vision to see how to kind of do that. So down here, what we can do is do our best to see that, okay, I remember I'm seeing a braid slash fishtail slash whatever, and I'm hearing them throw the words fear mongering. Yeah, all that stuff is wrapped up in this appearance of this big braid, big ass braid. But I remember that I'm not seeing straight because there is no braid. The reality is there's no braid. There is no braid. So why do I think I'm holding this braid and that I'm in this braid? Now that's the question. But if I move like there's no braid, then I will keep programming my current present mind and present state of consciousness that I can do certain things that I would be able to do if there were no braid, because there is no braid. And in the meantime, I will continue to work till I unravel one part, another part. That's tantamount to doing what you need to do down here, meaning your shadow work, looking into yourself, doing your psychosomatic work, all that stuff, those modalities that are brought to you by yourself, your inner self, not by some TikTok trend or something, but by your higher self, what's being told to you, not some medical organization, this and that, but your higher self that you're being led by, right? Getting inward, letting it lead you to the modalities and any medical stuff that you need, any activism that you need, any science that you need. It's letting spirit, yourself, guide your steps. It's a walk of faith, right? But if you're out here doing it yourself based on worldly ideas and you're just messing things up and you're doing nothing but taking on more traction. So what you want to do is get quiet, start building a relationship with yourself. And if you're not into the habit of connecting with silence and being alone and allowing yourself to reach up, having a daily connection, whether it's prayer, whether it's song, whether it's joy, whatever it is that it is, then that's what you need to focus on building right now. And as you do so, you will start to hear the voice. You will feel the movement. You can't feel and hear these subtleties when you keep taking all these things outside of you so seriously. And yes, a lot of people do have a calling to be out in the world and assist others. However, your job first is to connect with yourself, because otherwise you're just running rogue. What are you running on? The news feeds, the blind items, the popular trends, the shock news media, your own observations, which are based on narratives that are really low frequency, your own troubled past that you haven't even looked at yet to even know how it's affecting you, your subconscious leanings, your implicit biases, all of these things. And so know thyself is super important It is a spiritual directive. It is a spiritual necessity in order to align with yourself. So, as we said, get quiet. And then when you get quiet enough, you will realize that you are able to choose while you're here. Now, you're either going to choose egoic vision of your reality, meaning you're going to look around and see outside of you, and the stories you're going to see as being logical and true and sensible, and it feels right, and I don't know, it just made sense, and like I looked in the past and I thought about myself. I mean, all the evidence is going to lead to supporting that egoic vision. All of that is founded upon poor programming, right? The I am not. Or you will choose to connect with self and listen. And just because you get into the listening / receptive state, meaning you're allowing these energies, these higher frequencies to flow into you, doesn't mean, oh, I saw 1111. I'm going to go back to my ex. No. Oh, I saw 132. Angel numbers, that means I have to go in the, no. All you're doing is you're getting into the receptive state and you're establishing a link that you've chosen to make a conscious mind link. Now you're saying to the universe, hey, I'm ready to bring conscious mind awareness to what is coming into my field. And that's beautiful. That's called mindfulness. But the part of mindfulness that a lot of people need to remember is that when you get into that receptive state, whatever flows into you, into your space, your energetic sphere, still needs to be vetted. We see this a lot when people are like, oh, I decided to start dating again. And oh my God, now I've got like 3 guys and I met one, and now, when it rains, it pours. No, doesn't mean any of these guys are worth anything. They all could just be your father. No, I'm kidding. Or your mother in another form. What it means is that on some level of the field, you said, turn the light switch on, turn the switch on, I'm receiving, and that you're a magnet. The universe is like, all right, let's go, boys. Give them what they ask for. But it's your job to use discernment. And on this channel, we say what discernment is. It's not the D that we want. Dear God, it's not. We know what that D is. It's the D that we need. Discernment is your ability to discern, energetically speaking, frequency speaking, the difference between what is of no substance, low frequency, unreal, hate-based, divisive, anti-oneness energy, and all of its forms, the people, places, things, situations, ideas that are built upon those frequencies. And what is real, what is love, what is compassionate, what is generous, what is empathetic, what is caring, what is giving, what is receiving, self-love, self-acceptance, abundance, divine providence, all of that is the I am. In other words, you're always being asked, hey, little cute little earth being, what would you like to identify with? In spiritual law says the universe will only ever respond to what it is that you, as the sovereign co-creator, free will being that God created you to be, asks for. And what you're asking for is not, well, I want, no. What you're asking for, what you're desiring, what you're wanting is the dominant expression that is within your energy field. So you may be saying till you're blue in the face, I want a husband. But if you're beating a larger drum, I hate men, men are the devil, I would prefer 10 bears over 1 man, guess what? And every time you're making jokes online, laughing about that, and self-deprecating jokes, all that stuff, you're beating that drum. That's what the universe is receiving from you. Order received, order received, order received. And the universe does its job like clockwork, no pun intended. It will arrange for you your beautiful or not so beautiful vibrations into form. It will physicalize and attach form to what it is that you are vibrating outside of you. And so that is how you end up marrying and having children with your own self destruction, for example, right? If you're beating that drum of I'm not worthy, I'm everyone's always going to abandon me, this and that, and you're still in that blaming, all that, stand up right? As I say, stand up and be accounted for. How are you accounted for? You account for yourself. And that know thyself is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. It's that blue pill. It's not about waking up in some weird matrix. No, it's about either you want to look at what you are beating the drum of in your vibrational field, AKA what you're believing to be true about yourself, your self concept, or you want to be on autopilot and just run on the self concept that is not your reality, but that has been programmed into you. You're not a race. You're not some sexual orientation. You're not some nationality. You're not all this stuff. And even if that's how you're expressing, it ain't a big deal. It's called diversity, right? For example, you're not a housewife. You're not, what are they called? Purple hearted, this, all. You're not any of that stuff. That's not what you are. Those are identities. You need only go to another country to see a lot of these identities either shift into being not a big deal at all or being more like just everyday thing. So why is it that it's such a big deal for you to the point that you would throw your conscious mind and throw your central nervous system? And when you see how your belief systems impact your physical body, we can also say throw your peripheral nervous system out of whack because you're identifying with those things. So I'm going to go ahead and end this so that it could stay. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter the timeliness because it's on YouTube and we out here doing whatever lengths we want, right? But if you want to choose to continue to be beholden to beliefs that are not you, in other words, if you want to continue to identify consciously or subconsciously, and that's your homework, you got to do your know thyself and do your shadow work and all that, your core belief work and observation, basic observation to see what it is that you're putting out there. If you want to continue to beat those drums and identify with all this stuff, that's you. That you will never be able to get into alignment with yourself, your true self, your higher self, if you are beating the drum of something opposite than it. The Creator created you as a co-creative being. You have free will, you have sovereignty, right? You chose to be on this planet. And you chose the curriculum. And while you're down here, as long as you don't get into knowing yourself and doing that work, you're going to continue to choose to populate your world and fill in the gaps with what? Programmed toxicity. So it's time to put our big boy, big girl pants on. Pants on. Pants. We're all wearing pants. Okay. It's time to put those pants on and take accountability. What is it that you would like to have be your identity? Do you want to be a victim or do you want to be your true self? Do you want to be a martyr or your true self? Do you want to be a person who is all about poverty consciousness or do you want to be your true self? Do you want to be a loser or your true self? Do you want to be 10 times a bridesmaid, never a bride, or your true self? Do you want to be the person who will never get their big break in life, or do you want to be yourself? What do you want to be? And so maybe if you want to get to be your true self, maybe you're not even there yet to kind of see, well, okay, I don't know, what am I doing? Then maybe you need to start with looking at, well, what are the archetypal energies that I'm carrying with me? And oh, by the way, I have a nice deck of cards that you guys, if I may suggest, and I may because it's my channel, right? If you're interested in working with archetypal energies, in other words, if you're just like, dude, can I just get some tools to kind of give me some insight into what these energies are that I'm kind of moving with, then may I suggest, guide A, we're out here, right? May I suggest that you use these archetype cards by Caroline Myss. That's MYSS. They're really great. They show the archetype and then they show what that archetype expresses as. Remember, the archetype is just an aspect, right? But what does that express as when it's used in its light, when it's expressing in its light frequency? And what does it express as when it's in its shadow. For example, the queen radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. In the shadow, the queen archetype becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. Let's grab one. The magical child, cute. In its light attributes, magical child, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. So that is a positive, light aligned, self aligned, source aligned attribute of the magical child aspect. When this magical child aspect of source is expressed in its shadow, we see pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth, right? So we may see a lot of shadow attributes in abnormal psychology and just in just normal the way that people move these days. It's rough out. It's rough in these streets, right? But these could help us. Oh, the saboteur is a big one, right? In its light attribute, yes, the saboteur could be, it is an aspect, it's an archetype. It can express in a positive. It highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. So when, in other words, when the saboteur dynamic, thanks guys, there's a dynamic. When the saboteur dynamic is present within your energy and it's expressing, take a look at it. Just notice it. Well, okay, is it in its light or its shadow? Once you notice, oh, shoot, I'm sabotaging myself, it's self-sabotage, then a positive use of that energy would be to let that self-sabotaging energy that you have highlight your fear of self-empowerment. Let it inform you, reflect upon it, and let it inform you how you actually are just fearing what? Yourself. Because remember, yourself is powerful. I am powerful. Power belongs to divine expression. Weakness is the opposite. And we actually fear the power there because many lifetimes and whatnot, we may have learned through those false personas that we took on, we may have come to associate / learned, been programmed, our power with disaster, with volatility. Maybe in another lifetime you chose to express temporarily as a chief for a little tribe that you had, or a village elder, or the head of a school, or just whatever, and you were so powerful, and maybe you misused it, maybe you tried to do well, but people still ended up getting hurt, you know how it is with leadership and blah, blah, blah. And so your soul learned an association between power and destruction. And since then, now you're afraid of it because you're so afraid that you're going to misuse your power again or something. We see that a lot in the, and also the energy community, people who are very intuitive or have a lot of metaphysical abilities in other lifetimes, they dabbled, right? And so these days, or maybe they've had stuff done to them, and so now they've associated ability with negativity, right? So long story short, they will sabotage themselves before they get too successful, before they get too powerful. We see this in work too, where we continue to settle for less than because we have somehow along our way come to fear success, right? All sorts of stuff. In its shadow side, though, so in the light side, you will notice yourself sabotage and you will allow yourself to mull it over, think about it, and make changes. So you've used and engaged with that sabotage energy in a positive way. But in its shadow, the self-sabotage or the saboteur will induce, big word, self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Now, some people will say, oh, I didn't mean to. You're saying I wanted him to lose the race? Is that what you're saying? No, first of all, stop with all the drama. What I'm saying is that on some level of your field, you have sabotaged this. Now you can play around with what you think desire means. I wanted this, I did. No, it means that inside of your energy field, in your mindset, you have a dominant belief, a belief that is so dominant that it manifests as the dominant expression. It is the code that you put out. It's a vibration that you put out to the universe, and the universe will give right back into your life that. And then all of a sudden, yeah, to everybody outside, you did sabotage your husband's race because you wanted him to lose. I didn't want that. And, just even them sitting down with their friendly local licensed therapist, they'll be like, actually, you did. Could it be that you're still mad at him for that time? And then the person's like, oh, I guess, right? So, long story short, in order to really know ourselves, we have to put our cute little eyeball on, our third eye. We have to open it. We have to allow ourselves to look at ourselves. Know thyself. The beauty of the earth plane is that it's just one big feedback space. It is a feedback space. You have a belief, you emit the vibration is answered by the universe. Form is molecules, all that matter is arranged to reflect back to you your own thought. The earth plane is a place where we come to experience what? Our mind. That's it. Everything is mind. So somebody somewhere outside of time and space said, hey, I kind of want to, wouldn't it be cool? Imagine, let's say, what if Elon Musk or whoever, I don't know how people are, what if one big tech guy was one day like, guess what? We've just created a VR game that is so real. All you need to do, it looks like a little pod or bed. All you need to do is get in and get hooked up. And now you can walk around in your own mind and it'll feel real. And here we are. This is what it is, right? I'm not saying that's what it is, but this is the analogy here. You're just experiencing your own mind, your own consciousness. But it's not just your mind and this personality. You've got a healthy subconscious going on there, right? You've got your own little universe going on. And so I would invite you to take this week to mull things over. Start asking yourself, get reflective, get proactive. When you start observing things outside of you, it's not always going to be like, did I do that? Thanks, Steve. No, we're not needing to do that. Instead, let's look for allegories. Okay, whatever I just witnessed, whether it's relating to me or not, is there a parallel that I can draw within my own world that I can learn from, not judge myself for, but maybe take away a little something of value? And that's what you're being asked to do this week. So Spirit, going back to this our initial message, Spirit is out here letting you know it's time to pound the pavement. It's time to PTP, pound the pavement. In other words, let's get serious. Let's talk. What are you doing? Right? You want real change? Well, listen, baby. No, I'm kidding. You came to Earth. You're here. You are the walking change that you need. People don't just land on Earth because they want to do a thing. They want to have a vacation. No, they have incarnated on Earth because they wanted to get things done. And so if you don't like what's going on in your immediate environment, in your world, in your workplace, in your relationship, is your place too dusty? Is your car on the fritz? Do you always struggle to get a new car before it falls to pieces? Like, where are your struggles? Now, have you done the obligatory get quiet and connect with yourself? Do you have a pattern? If you don't even have a habit of that, then don't even pass go. Go straight to not to jail. Go straight to your thinking chamber and develop that pattern, because you can say you do not have a relationship with yourself. Lots of people are out here in relationships with others, with their pets, with their plants, with their men, with their women, all sorts of stuff, with their devices. Apparently, there are some people out there with their little dolls. I don't know, with a car I saw once. I don't know. I don't know. Not my business. But everyone wants to have a relationship somewhere. Nobody's trying to sit and cultivate the only real relationship that is real here, that needs to start first. And that is the relationship with self. Because what is self? Self is source. That's it. So I don't care what, religious space you're kind of working through, scientific space, historical space. These are all discourses from this earthly existence. And you may, play around with all these things. It's your choice, but that should not come first. Those spaces should not inform your view of reality. You have to get back to self, because the self is going to fill in the missing link. What is the missing link? The missing link is your awareness of your connection to source. It is energy. You are not a body. You're not physical. This stuff isn't real. Now, we will continue while we're here in the body, because we chose to be in this body temporarily. You will continue to experience it as a nightmare until you start to shift the only place that drives the molecular, orientations of stuff. And that is in your mind, your subconscious. And I'm not saying you need to go on like some major sabbatical to the Amazon River and imbibe all these substances and be with this shaman. And, the shamans have another thing coming for them. Okay. A lot of people are misusing their gifts. And I will leave it at that. It's never going to be everybody, but are a lot of people. And your discernment is what you're going to be honing. Discernment is the ability, once again, to clock the difference between what is real, in other words, aligned with the frequency of I am, that is your true identity. Only love is real, only goodness, right? Or, and to distinguish that from fear, it's division. So anything you're working towards that speaks and beats the drum of division, that he said, she said, and I'm not doing that. I would invite you to pause, get quiet, and sift. Like, gold, when we're sifting the gold pieces from all the other rocks and stuff, that's what you're doing in this lifetime. Just notice that's what you're doing. You're on this planet, you just sift. Okay, new person, sift it out. Oh, I'm going to apply for this job, sift it out. All this stuff. And once you start to glean that there are unloving elements here that are not life affirming, that are not your I am affirming, that speak to you, in other words, of things that you cannot do, instead of affirming what you can do, get rid of it. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. I mean, I'll make some arrangements. But you best believe that every now moment foot that you put forward must be beating the drum of I am. And that may look as simple as like, God, I know I can't make this change right now yet. Like, I can't change this job yet. I can't get out of this marriage yet. Because whatever obligations I believe are there, but I'm going to take every step that I have now to keep you in my sight, you meaning me, self-acceptance, self-love, because you can't accept God if you can't even accept his children, and, the others, and yourself and all that, right? So all these people beating division, they're not serving source. They're serving an egoic thing they haven't noticed yet. All right. So you don't need to be a part of that. You take your now moments. And when you take your now moments, that adds up, that strengthens the vibration that you're putting out. And it puts distance between you in your mindset and the past that is already gone. There's no linear situation. There's no past. There's no nothing. All it is just a now moment. Now, 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 now. And your point of focus is what gives you your now moment, the quality of your now moment. And if you're not even focused on that past anymore, your victimhood, all that stuff, then what you're doing now is actively focusing on the only moment that counts. And then let's say if you want to hit up a past situation or a linear situation, you could then notice the string of the now moments that you're making, and you can be like, oh shoot, look at me. There's my linear past. I have been beating the drum of my abundance for the last four weeks. That is such a healthy energy versus I'm such a loser. Everyone abandons me because all you're doing is bringing out from the ether some gone moment and choosing to bring it back into your now moment. And now you're creating in your own mindset, you're making rather, because creation is for God and godly energies that you align with, you're making an imagined history that you're still this victim and this and that, and you need that. And no, it might be a little bit of a harsh message coming through this week for us. And as I'm saying that, I'm getting that maybe something may happen. No, this is not going to happen to you. If you're still here, hi, oh my God, hi. This is not going to happen to you. What I'm getting here, but energetically, something is going to be shown to you this week. You may witness something in somebody else's thing, whether you know them, whether a family member and they're distant, whether it's a cousin or a coworker or something. I don't necessarily get it's in the news or something that distance. I feel like something in your community. You may hear a story or witness something that shows you that in action, right? That shows you that whole victim stuff in action, but you will have to realize that that is not your story. Okay, so start learning how to step out of what doesn't belong to you. In other words, and this is what I think the guides are gonna give us practice in this week. Oh, I almost said this month, yeah, this month, but this week and this month. A really great analogy for that is you're walking down that hallway in elementary school, looking through the window, seeing if you see friends, you see people doing things, people in the hallways, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, you can look about as you continue on this hallway, but don't get distracted. Don't worry about what's going on and all that. You need to go use the bathroom and come back to your classroom and focus on what's for you. Because the more you're focusing out there, you're not focusing where you need to be focusing. Okay. So anyway, little message coming through. Okay, I heard this for somebody. Give your cousin or give your little cousin a break. He's not that bad. Okay. So whatever that is about, that's for somebody. Oh, any more personal messages? Oh, maybe I'll shoot those little. Okay, I'll ask Spirit to bring through some personal messages for people, and for those, check in my shorts. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm checking anything else? Anything else? Alrighty, God bless you guys. If you'd like to work more personally with me, we do everything on this channel. We do obviously teachings like this, and we do energy healing sessions, intuitive counseling sessions, all that. If you'd like to work more closely, go ahead and book a session with me on Etsy. And remember, you can book now, and you don't have to have your session now. You can choose it for later on in the year or just whenever is good for you. All right. God bless you, and let's do our best. Oh, they're so cute. They're showing this card. Oh my God, both of these cards. Okay, wow. Let me bring them in. God is good. I'm so thankful for them because you know me. I need to advertise more. They're like, yep, teaching. They were like, my job on this planet is to teach, to heal, and to motivate, right? Obviously, these teachings are about spiritual stuff, but if you know, then you know that my career literally is in education, higher education, and that is my thing, teaching and all that. So anyway, God bless you, and of course, spiritual counseling. You know exactly where to find us. God bless you, and have a wonderful day. Mwah!